Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. I welcome you all to our online learning initiative Ekalaiva. And today in this video we are going to start with excretion in animals. Okay, already in our last video we completed excretion in plants, and today we are going to see about the excretion in animals. And you all know that excretion is a process in which the toxic waste produced in the metabolic processes taking place in our body is removed. Okay, so that process we will call it as excretion. Okay, so now we are going to start with the excretion in animals. As usual, we will start with the lower animals, then we will move on to our human beings. Okay, first excretion in amoeba. Okay, when you take excretion in amoeba, you all know that amoeba is a unicellular organism. Okay, the whole body is only one cell. Okay, so it is not having any organ system to do all this function. Okay, in spite of that, amoeba is doing all the life processes. In the same way, it is doing this excretion also. Okay, so what are the excretory products produced in amoeba? When you see, it is producing carbon dioxide, which is a waste of our respiration process. Okay, so carbon dioxide, this is a waste produced in the process of respiration. Whereas, okay, in the process of digestion, okay, they intake some food, so because of that some nitrogenous waste are produced in its body, and this amoeba, okay, it is releasing, that is excreting that carbon dioxide simply through diffusion. Okay, diffusion, movement of the substance from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Okay, when this carbon dioxide amount increase in the body of amoeba, automatically, okay, it is diffused out into the atmosphere. Okay, whereas these nitrogenous waste, they are excreted out by the help of contractile vacuoles. Okay, so I will show you the picture. So this is a picture of amoeba, okay, where it is excreting carbon dioxide out, and already you know that how it is respiring, that is taking oxygen, that is also by diffusion. So this waste carbon dioxide, it is released out by the process of this respiration. Okay, then the next one, okay, when you see because of, okay, it intake some food, okay, so in the digestion of that food there will be production of some waste, and those waste will be collected in the contractile vacuoles. Okay, actually this is the contractile vacuole, and this contractile vacuole will be moving towards the membrane of that amoeba. On touching that outer membrane, it bursts out and it is releasing all this nitrogenous waste, and this is how excretion is taking place in the body of amoeba. Okay, the next one what we are going to see is excretion in earthworm. Okay, so in earthworm, when you see, it is excreting with the help of two structures, that is a tubular structure called nephridia. Okay, the tubular structure called nephridia, and it is also excreting through its moist skin. Okay, so in two ways earthworm is excreting its waste. That is the first one, in its body it is having a tubular structure called nephridia. Okay, through that tubular structure it will be having an opening, outer opening, through which it is excreting that nitrogenous waste and the other waste produced in its body, and also it is having a moist skin. Through that skin, okay, some of the waste will be diffused out. Okay, so this is how earthworm is excreting its waste. Okay, I will show you the nephridia in the next slide. See, so you know, okay, already in 9th standard you have learned about, under the classification you have learned about the structure. Okay, it is having a metameric segmentation. Okay, so each and every segment, okay, you can see some segments here. So each and every segment will be having a tubular structure. Okay, it is having a tubular structure. This tubular, it is an enlarged portion of single segment. Okay, this tubular structure we used to call it as nephridia, and it is having a external pore which is called nephridiospore. Okay, it is having a pore, okay, external opening, which we are calling it as a nephridiopore. Okay, through this nephridiopore it is excreting all this waste produced in its body, excess of water, mineral salts, ammonia and urea. So this is how, okay, the lower level organisms, they possess some excretory organs and some process of excretion in their body. Okay, next we are going to see about the excretion in human beings. Okay, so excretion in human beings, you know, okay, we are multicellular organisms and we possess a complex organ system for each and every life processes. Okay, in the same way, for doing this excretion also we have our excretory system. Before going into that, we will see what is this excretion in human beings. Okay, when you see what is this excretion in human beings, okay, it is a process of removing excess of water, waste material and harmful substances. Waste material and harmful substances are produced due to the metabolic processes going on in our body cells, body tissues. Okay, and what are those waste when you see? Okay, the waste, okay, it is mainly consist of water, excess of water, and then it is having two main waste which are nothing but urea and then uric acid. Okay, urea and uric acid. Urea, it is produced from the protein catabolism, and uric acid, it is from the nucleic acid catabolism, and all these waste are produced in the liver. From the liver it is excreted out through our kidneys. Okay, so these are the main waste: excess of water, urea, uric acid, and along with that some excess of salts also excreted through this excretory system. And removal of all these waste, we used to call it as excretion in human beings. For doing this process, okay, for doing this excretion, we have a complete system which we are calling it as the excretory system. And excretory system includes all these organs in our body. Okay, it is not a single system. Some organs, okay, along with the excretory system, okay, excretory system in the sense we used to call it as our urinary system. Okay, along with that urinary system, all the other organs also doing their excretion function. So here, kidney, lungs, okay, our skin, and then liver. Okay, these are the things which are considered as excretory organ. So you know that this is kidney and this is our lungs, skin and our liver. Okay, so these are the organs comes under this excretory system, and how they are doing that excretory function. When you see, you all know that lungs are considered as excretory organ as they were releasing that carbon dioxide. Okay, it is releasing the carbon dioxide produced in the cellular respiration in our body cells. Okay, that under that condition we can consider our lungs as our excretory organ. Okay, and then skin. Okay, so through sweat it is excreting excess of salts present in our body fluids. So this is, okay, under that condition our skin is acting as an excretory organ. And liver, when you take, okay, this liver, it is a main thing. Okay, we have seen the two main waste produced in our body, that is urea and uric acid. Actually it is catabolized in our liver only. Okay, so that excess of amino acids, that is converted into urea in our liver. Okay, so as this liver is responsible for producing those waste, we can also include our liver under our excretory system. Even that worn out RBCs will have some hemoglobin, okay, that pigment will be converted into bilirubin and biliverdin, which is excreted, adjusted along with our undigested food material. Okay, so this is how all these organs, they are acting as an excretory organ, and the main organ of our excretory system is our kidney. Okay, so now we will see the structure of our excretory system. So excretory system, it comprises of all these organs, that is pair of kidneys. Okay, it is having pair of kidneys and the urinary bladder, then it is having pair of ureter and the urethra. These are the four main parts of our excretory system: pair of kidneys, bladder, ureter, pair of ureter and urethra. Okay, now we will see the structural explanation for this excretory system. So this is our excretory system. As I told you, our excretory system is, okay, it consists of pair of kidneys, okay, a fist-sized, and this is of kidney shaped organ. Okay, we have pair of kidneys, okay, left kidney and right kidney. Okay, you know that which is left to you, it is our right kidney, and which is right to you, that is our left kidney. Okay, so we have pair of kidneys and pair of ureter. Okay, this is our ureter, and then we have bladder. Okay, pair of kidneys, and then we have ureter. Then this structure, okay, this bag like structure, we used to call it as urinary bladder, where the urine produced, secreted out of a kidney, it is stored for some time. Okay, when it is filled, you can see that this bladder is connected with the nerves. Okay, so this is a nerve that tells brain that bladder is full. Okay, we can call this nerve as a sensory nerve, which is taking this information to our brain, and the brain is giving command to excrete it out. Okay, so that we are feeling that urge to urinate. Okay, so this nerve we used to call it as motor nerve. Okay, so this is how it is under the control of our central nervous system, and this opening through which, okay, this urine is released out, this opening we used to call it as urethra. Okay, so these are the four main parts of our excretory system: pair of kidneys, that is left kidney and right kidney, pair of ureter, and then we have urinary bladder to fill that urine, and that urethra to release that urine out of our urinary bladder. And all our organs, it is supplied with the blood circulation, and the main artery and the vein which is bringing blood and which is taking blood out of our kidney. Okay, so this is main artery. Okay, we can even call it as our renal artery. Okay, we can call it as our renal artery. Okay, so this renal artery, you know already, arteries are carrying oxygenated blood, but here it is a oxygenated impure blood. Okay, oxygenated, it is bringing oxygenated impure blood. What is the meaning of that impure blood? Oxygenated, enriched with oxygen. What is that impure blood when you see, which carries all these waste which has to be excreted out? Okay, it is bringing that blood into our kidney, and okay, this renal vein, okay, this vein you can call it as a renal vein, and this renal vein, okay, it carries away deoxygenated blood from the kidney, because when this oxygenated blood enters our kidney cells will use that oxygen, so that the blood becomes deoxygenated. At the same time, this kidney is doing its important function, that is purifying our blood, that is removing all the waste, so that the blood becomes pure. Okay, so oxygenated impure blood is carried by renal artery, and deoxygenated pure blood is taken from the kidney into our, okay, it is carried to other parts. Okay, so this is about the structural details of our excretory system. Okay, now we'll see about the function of this excretory system, and we have, okay, the basic structural and functional unit of our kidney, we used to call it as nephron. Okay, so this picture, it is showing about the renal artery and vein, and now we are going to learn about the important thing called nephron. So the nephron, it is a basic structural and functional unit of our body, that is kidney. Okay, so this nephron, okay, we are going to see about the structure of nephron. Actually, that purification of blood, okay, it is actually carried out by this nephron only. Okay, so first we will see the structure, parts of nephron, then we will see the function of this nephron. Okay, so this nephron, okay, it consists of a cup shaped structure, which we are calling it as glomerulus. Okay, sorry, this is called as Bowman's capsule. Okay, this structure, it is called, the cup shaped structure is called Bowman's capsule, and this Bowman's capsule will be having bundles of blood vessels. Okay, you can see the blood capillary is entering. Okay, this capillary, see the arteriole from the renal artery which is entering this Bowman capsule, we can call this as afferent arteriole, which is getting enter. Okay, and it is forming a bundles of that blood capillary inside this Bowman capsule, and that bundles of blood capillary only we are calling it as glomerulus. Okay, then after forming that bundle, again it is coming out, that part of the artery which is coming out of our Bowman capsule, we used to call it as efferent arteriole. Efferent in the sense which is coming out. Okay, so Bowman capsule, arterioles and glomerulus over. Okay, then it continues as a coiled tube. Okay, can you see this portion? Coiled tube. That front portion of that coiled tube, we used to call it as a proximal convoluted tubes. Okay, so we can call it as PCT. Okay, proximal convoluted tubes. Then this proximal convoluted tubes, it continues into a U-shaped tube, and this U-shaped tube we will call it as loop of Henle. Okay, we will call it as loop of Henle. Then it continues as again the coiled tube, and this last portion of the tube we will call it as distal convoluted tube, that is DCT. Okay, PCT is proximal convoluted tube and this DCT is distal convoluted tube. Then it continues into a tubular structure which we are calling it as urine collecting duct. Okay, so this is about the structure of our nephron. Okay, and how this nephron is located in our kidneys, when you see, actually kidney, it consists of the outer part is called, okay, this part, this portion of a kidney, okay, this portion of a kidney we used to call it as cortex, this area. Okay, the inner part is called as medulla. This inner part we used to call it as medulla, and actually this nephron, okay, this part of a nephron, okay, that is the Bowman capsule, glomerulus, the convoluted tube, all those things, it is located in the cortex area of our kidney, and this loop of Henle, okay, this loop of Henle and other blood capillaries and all, they are present in the medullary part. Okay, so this is how this nephron, okay, it is located in our kidneys. Okay, and now we are going to see the important functions of our nephron, how this nephron is forming this urine. Okay, so actually it is formed in 4 steps, that is filtration, reabsorption, secretion and excretion. Okay, 4 steps are nothing but the first step is filtration, okay, where our urine is filtered, that is blood is filtered here. Okay, the filtration is carried out by this glomerulus. Okay, when the blood is entering this Bowman capsule, this glomerulus is filtering that blood, okay, leaving only that RBC and large protein here. Excess of water, glucose, amino acid, salt, urea, uric acid, everything, okay, which is there in our blood, okay, it is coming along with this filtrate. But you know, our body, it requires that glucose, it requires that amino acid, and we need that water. So what happens now, in the next process, reabsorption is taking place. That is, this loop of Henle I showed you, know, that loop of Henle is surrounded by blood capillaries. Okay, it is enriched with blood capillaries. So what happens now, as the filtrate is coming down through that loop of Henle, all these required things like amino acid, glucose, water and all, it is reabsorbed into our blood circulation. That process we will call it as reabsorption. Okay, why it is called as reabsorption? In the sense, second time all these things are getting absorbed. First time it is in our digestive system, and second time here it is absorbed, so we are calling it as reabsorption. Okay, then the next one, so when it is reabsorbed, okay, the remaining fluid will have little amount of water along with salt, urea and uric acid. Urea and uric acid. Actually, this combination only we will call it as our urine. So this process of releasing this component alone out of our nephron, we will call it as secretion, and at last it is excreted out from our urinary bladder. So in this 4 steps, our nephron that is present in our kidney, it is purifying our blood and it is removing all the waste present in our blood, so that the blood, when it is entering our kidney, okay, the impure blood, okay, it is converted into pure blood. Okay, then the last one. So this is how our kidney is working. So due to some reason there will be kidney failure, and now we are going to see how to deal with this kidney failure. Kidney failure can be due to all these reasons, that is pre-renal, renal and post-renal. Okay, so these are the reasons. Blood pressures, okay, pre-renal condition in the sense because of blood pressure, and renal condition, damage to the kidneys, okay, and post-renal in the sense obstruction in our urinary system. So because of all these reasons there will be some kidney failure. How to deal with this kidney failure? Two ways we can come out of this. One is kidney transplantation. So this kidney transplantation, when they are doing, what they will do now, they will not remove this damaged kidneys. Okay, the donor kidney, that third kidney, it is fixed in our pelvic region along with our urinary bladder and our blood circulatory system like this. So this is called kidney transplantation. Okay, so directly they will not go for kidney transplantation as it is having many problems like graft rejection. So some people, okay, they are going, mostly they are going for the treatment called dialysis, okay, which we are calling it as a artificial kidney. So medical procedure used to replace renal function. Okay, this is, okay, how they are going to replace this renal function, I'll explain you now. Okay, this is actually the procedure to do this dialysis. Okay, the patient, okay, artery, from the artery, okay, they are collecting, see, from the artery they are collecting the blood. Okay, the line artery, they are collecting the blood, and this blood, the patient blood, it is taken into the dialysis machine. That dialysis machine, actually it will be having a membrane system. Okay, and this is, okay, it is present in the dialyzing solution. Okay, it is made of, these tubes are made up of semi-permeable membrane, and this semi-permeable membrane is present inside a tank which is filled with dialyzing solution. So when the patient blood is entering this tube, okay, when the patient blood is entering this tube, this dialyzing solution will have, okay, the osmolarity of this dialysis solution is similar to that patient blood. Okay, whatever is there, glucose concentration, water concentration, everything, it is similar to patient blood, okay, except that waste. Okay, so what happens now? This blood which is entering this tube, the waste amount will be more compared to this dialyzing solution. So what happens automatically, from higher concentration to lower concentration, all these waste, it is excreted, that is not excreted, it is diffused out into this dialyzing solution, so that continuously they will be collecting the dialyzing solution, and continuous inlet also will be there to continue this diffusion process. So okay, it will be taking hours together to clean, completely clean this patient blood. Okay, so once it is purified, again the same blood, it is injected into the vein of that same patient. Okay, this is how, when they have their kidney is not functional, this is how, using this dialysis, hemodialysis, we used to clean the blood of that particular patient. So this is about the complete urinary system of our human beings. Okay, thank you children.